Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Nathan West's memory continues to linger in Port Charles, and viewers have long wondered whether the character's story is truly finished. For a show like General Hospital, death does not always close a door forever, and with new mysteries constantly unfolding, fans are once again revisiting the possibility of Nathan's return. But if Nathan were to re-emerge, would it truly be Nathan inside that familiar form, or would his body have been claimed by another? The most intriguing theories center on two characters who share a twisted legacy with Nathan: Cesar Faison, the father whose cruelty shaped so many lives, and Peter August, the son who has walked a perilous line between redemption and relapse. The idea that one of them may have taken possession of Nathan's body is unsettling, yet strangely fitting in the world of Port Charles. For years, Faison was a villain of unmatched menace. He was ruthless, manipulative, and obsessed with control. Even after his death, the shadows of his schemes still haunt those who knew him. Faison's reputation for elaborate plots, secret labs, and cutting-edge experimentation has left a door wide open for speculation. Could he have planned one last horrifying trick before his demise? Many fans argue that Faison, anticipating his end, might have devised a method to transfer his consciousness into another host. If Nathan's body had been preserved, either through medical intervention or cryogenic storage, Faison could have targeted him as the perfect vessel. It would allow him to live on in the guise of his own son, twisting Nathan's identity into something grotesque and cruel. Imagine the psychological warfare of Faison, speaking with Nathan's voice, wielding Nathan's face, but carrying the sinister cunning of a father who never loved him. At the same time, Peter August complicates the picture. His relationship with Nathan was complicated. They were brothers bound by blood, yet their lives diverged in painful ways. Peter has sought redemption, at times striving to prove himself more than the shadow of his father. But again and again, his darker impulses resurface. Suppose Peter, desperate to escape the consequences of his own misdeeds, found a way to survive by abandoning his failing body. In this scenario, Nathan's form might be the ultimate disguise. Nobody would suspect that the man standing before them, believed to be Nathan, could actually be Peter continuing his manipulations under a heroic facade. This raises chilling questions about authenticity. If Nathan's loved ones welcomed him back, would they truly recognize him? Or would subtle differences, his mannerisms, his choices, his inability to recall the little details of his past reveal that someone else was pulling the strings? What makes the debate between Faison and Peter so gripping is the symbolic weight each option carries. If Faison were the one to commandeer Nathan's body, it would represent the ultimate perversion of a father-son relationship. Nathan, the honorable cop who tried to live a good life, would be reduced to a puppet for the father who tormented him. It would echo the theme of generational curses, where the sins of the parent swallow the hopes of the child. On the other hand, if Peter were the one inhabiting Nathan, it would dramatize sibling rivalry at its most extreme. Peter could literally erase Nathan, wearing his face as a mask, while consolidating his power in Port Charles. Both scenarios strike at the emotional core of Maxie, Nina, and everyone else who cherished Nathan. The heartbreak of seeing him alive but not truly himself could generate years of conflict. The mechanics of how such a transfer could occur are worth considering. General Hospital has a history of pushing the boundaries of medical science and science fiction. From memory mapping procedures to experiments in cryogenics, the show has seeded its canvas with enough pseudoscientific precedent to justify nearly any plot twist. Faison, with his access to resources and a network of loyal operatives, would have no trouble arranging for experimental technology. A consciousness transfer, a brain implant, or a memory overwrite could be explained with a few lines of dialogue from a shadowy doctor. Peter, meanwhile, had connections to Helena Cassadine's research and Victor Cassadine's schemes. He too could have stumbled upon methods of preserving himself beyond death. The Cassadines have long dabbled in projects that blur the line between life and death, and Peter's ties to them make this theory plausible. In soap logic, the impossible often becomes inevitable. If Nathan's body has been overtaken, the ripple effects would be enormous. Consider Maxie. She has grieved for Nathan for years, raising their child with a mixture of sorrow and pride. If Nathan returned, her world would shatter with hope. She would rush to embrace him, to rebuild the family she thought she had lost. But if she slowly realized that the man in front of her was not the Nathan she remembered, her devastation would cut deeper than any loss. Would she cling to the illusion for the sake of her child, or would she confront the horrifying truth? The story practically writes itself, with moments of heartbreak, denial, confrontation, and betrayal. In the case of Faison, Maxie would face the nightmare of knowing that her child's grandfather was masquerading as his father. In the case of Peter, she would confront the unbearable betrayal of a man she once trusted, stealing the image of the one she truly loved. Nina's reaction would also be fascinating. Nathan was her beloved brother, one of her few anchors in a tumultuous life. The possibility of his return would bring her to tears, rekindling old bonds. But Nina has also endured manipulation at the hands of villains, from Valentine to Cyrus. Her instincts might eventually alert her to something amiss. If it were Faison, she would be forced to relive the trauma of his reign of terror, now aimed directly at her through Nathan's stolen face. If it were Peter, she would be caught between her resentment of his crimes and the cruel trick of seeing him wear Nathan's skin. The emotional stakes for Nina would be sky-high, potentially propelling her into a new phase of strength or vulnerability. Even Anna Devane would be drawn into this storyline. Her history with Faison is legendary, full of obsession, violence, and enduring scars. If she learned that Faison had essentially resurrected himself inside Nathan, Anna's sense of guilt and horror would be magnified. She would see it as proof that Faison still had the last laugh, still finding ways to torment her from beyond the grave. In the case of Peter, Anna's conflicted maternal attachment to him would resurface. She has long wrestled with the tension between protecting Peter and holding him accountable. If he took Nathan's body, Anna would have to face the bitter truth that her misplaced compassion enabled him to achieve something monstrous. The writers could craft powerful confrontations, with Anna staring into the eyes of someone she wants to believe is Nathan, yet hearing echoes of Faison or Peter. Detectives and doctors in Port Charles could provide the mystery framework. Tests might reveal inconsistencies in Nathan's DNA or unexplained anomalies in his brain. Jordan, Dante, and other officers could notice differences in his investigative style, his methods, and his behavior. Liesl Albrecht, who has always operated in the moral gray zone, could be the first to suspect the truth. Her medical knowledge and intimate awareness of Faison's manipulations might allow her to uncover hints of the swap. Liesl would then face her own ethical dilemma. Should she expose the truth and destroy Maxie's hope, or should she protect the secret to spare her family pain? Few characters are as uniquely positioned as Liesl to drive this storyline forward. The dramatic potential does not end with emotional fallout. A resurrected Nathan, whether harboring Faison or Peter, could use his position to wreak havoc. As a decorated cop, Nathan had access to sensitive information and the trust of his colleagues. If Faison were behind the wheel, he could manipulate cases, protect criminal allies, or sabotage investigations from within the police department. If Peter were in control, he could infiltrate media, business, and law enforcement circles with unparalleled access, all while hiding in plain sight. Port Charles would essentially welcome a wolf in sheep's clothing, unaware of the predator standing among them. Suspense would build as tiny cracks appeared, leaving the audience screaming at the screen for characters to see what they cannot. Thematically, this storyline would explore identity, legacy, and deception. For Maxie and Nina, it would challenge their ability to discern truth from illusion. For Anna, it would confront her with the consequences of past choices. For Port Charles as a whole, it would serve as a reminder that evil never fully dies, it simply changes form. In soap storytelling, these themes resonate across years, providing endless fuel for drama. Viewers would debate endlessly. Is it really Nathan? Is there a piece of him left inside, fighting against the intruder? Could he be saved, or is the takeover complete? The ambiguity would keep fans hooked, desperate for each new revelation. One of the most tantalizing aspects of this theory is the possibility of dual consciousness. What if Nathan's essence still exists, trapped within his body, battling against the invader? Faison or Peter might dominate, but flashes of Nathan could break through a familiar phrase, a gesture, a memory only he would know. These fleeting moments would torment his loved ones, making them question whether they could rescue him. The writers could stretch this tension for months, even years, building to a climactic showdown where science, willpower, and love collide. Whether Nathan reclaims himself or is lost forever would become one of the show's most unforgettable arcs. For longtime viewers, the choice between Faison and Peter is a matter of symbolic resonance. Faison embodies the eternal villain, the monster who will not die, the shadow haunting Anna and her circle. Bringing him back inside Nathan would be grotesque yet hauntingly poetic. Peter, on the other hand, embodies betrayal and the futility of redemption. His return inside Nathan would be a cruel twist of fate, erasing the brother who represented everything he could not be. Both options are rich in narrative potential, and both would challenge the audience to confront uncomfortable questions about identity, love, and loss. In the end, the debate may not have a definitive answer until the writers choose to commit to one path. But the speculation itself has kept fans engaged, dissecting every clue, every rumor, every slip of dialogue that could hint at Nathan's return. Whether it is Faison's cunning or Peter's desperation, the possibility of someone inhabiting Nathan's body is too powerful to ignore. It would tie together decades of history, intertwine the fates of beloved characters, and spark emotional and ethical conflicts that could sustain storylines for years. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.